ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Saw retrospective. Are you ready to play a game with your good old ear holes? I'm not Jigsaw, bitch. I'm Travis now.
I am the break free of chains Taylor Field.
I am the you don't touch things in my room Dylan Muss.
I'm the Skullcracker Jessica.
If you haven't guessed by our nicknames or the title of the podcast, I don't know what's going on, but this is the third installment of our Saw retrospective series. We are, like our other retros, we're reviewing every Saw up until, I think it's October 27th or 28th when Jigsaw comes out, the newest installment for the Saw franchise, so we're taking a look back. Some of us have seen it, some of us haven't, so you got a good varying opinions of all these movies and perspectives. Jessica, let's start with you. So we're on Saw 3. You notoriously Saw 2 is your favorite, right?
Yeah.
And then notoriously.
I don't know. But so what are your thoughts on Saw 3?
Just overall non-spoiler here, is that our...
I guess, yeah, your opening statement, and then we'll get into spoilers. But really, if you spoil anything,
it's like
it doesn't matter.
This
movie's like, yeah, if you haven't, go watch it, then come back. But
so, I actually like this one more than I remember liking it, so... I think I maybe missed some of the connections of storylines just from watching them so spaced out when I was younger. But it's still... 2's still my favorite.
Yeah.
So there are some interesting things that happen and some things that I don't think are necessary, but overall, I don't think it's completely downhill by this movie yet.
Where does it rank with number 1 then? Because I knew it wasn't going to be better than 2, but where does it rank with number 1 for you?
Well, it'd still go 2, 1, 3.
And then the rest are...
Well, I'll add those in as we move along.
Oh no, don't spoil them, because at the very last episode we'll have a ranking, so I
Oh.
won't ask you that anymore. My bad.
Wow.
Dylan Muss, I've been waiting to... once again, spoilers. I've been waiting to, ever since last episode, when I said, oh yeah, you learn a lot more about Jigsaw, and you're like, thanks man, you spoiled that he made it throughout the whole thing. I was like, I can't fucking wait till you watch number 3 and see, because I was gonna say it, but I don't want to spoil it, that like the answer's right there, that obviously the way they tell us all through flashbacks. So what did you think about that? Because not only, like I said, spoilers.
Well, yeah, this movie ties up like a lot of things.
Yeah.
And answers a lot of questions about a lot of characters.
Yeah.
I actually really like this one. I think, as of right now, it's probably my favorite of the 3.
Wow!
Yeah. I don't know why exactly. I think it's just because... kind of we see it's almost like if this series was just a trilogy, then this movie would tie it up perfectly and like tie off all the loose ends and like
almost. We still don't know what Amanda's note is, right? You'd be like, what the fuck did that say?
Yeah, I
there's
guess
a few little I have my notes that you're kind of like,
There's a couple little things, but overall, I mean, obviously a lot of characters like die.
See, there's also a lot of loose ends that you don't know are loose ends yet.
Yeah.
So. Fair
enough.
Yeah.
As for my current movie watching experience, I feel like it ended a lot of storylines in a pretty good way. It's not perfect, like the main character or one of the guys in Jeff, I think, is kind of boring sometimes, just because it feels like there just like wasn't a script for him. Like he doesn't say very much, but I still like what he has to go through, and it's a different perspective than the other movies where he actually isn't in any danger. He's just making moral decisions from the outside, I guess. So yeah, I really like this movie.
How caught off guard were you that both Jigsaw and Amanda died? Like, I think you could have saw Jigsaw come, but how caught off were you when Amanda just gets fucking shot in the throat and that's it? Like...
Yeah, I really didn't expect that. Like, Jigsaw, he's literally in his deathbed and he's like, like if in the last movie he was dying, in this movie he's already dead. Pretty much, so. And that I kind of saw coming. I didn't really expect Amanda to just get shot though. Yeah. And I guess because she does actually die. Like she could have got shot and like lived, but she's pretty dead.
No, she's dead. Yeah. Taylor Field.
I mean, the second one still stands as my favorite, but this one, I like it again how...
The second one's your favorite too?
It's my favorite, yeah.
Oh, I feel like I didn't hear that last cast.
No, I'm pretty sure I said it last cast.
I think so, man.
Yeah.
Go check back on our second retrospective.
I like the third one again because, like every film leading up to this point, they've changed it around the take on how they're handling things and how the events. Like you said, like it's the Jeff dude or whatever. Like he's he's out of harm's way, but at the same time he's really not, because I mean, no matter what, even if like he's in control of certain characters' fates, he's still just a pawn in this game, and there's a chance of him dying still, like whether shotgun or Even like
we'll get to that part.
Great
That
trap.
part.
When I say
but even like emotionally too, that's I think that's something that tackles this pretty well. Like it's not always the physical pain, but it's really the emotional too that can really get to you. And you know, yeah, we'll talk about him. He's a funny character.
He's funny. I didn't see him cracking any jokes. Yeah, so for me, when I first saw this the first time, I was like, this is the worst Saw movie ever. Granted, there's only 3, so a lot more happens. And I was saying with Jessica that when I rewatched it the first time, and now I've rewatched it probably over like 10 times, it's ridiculous. But like, I do like it a lot more, especially, I liked it more as when you see what the twist is, and I do like it how it plays out. It's a really important movie for the rest of the franchise. I think you made a good point that it's another movie that's why I think it is a good sequel that changes the way things are done. I think it also hinders the series because I think this is when they start to go the wrong way and they start to get traps that are really more focused on gore than focus on the being clever or whatnot. And I'm not a big fan of, and it gets really bad later on, but I'm not a big fan of traps where the person in a trap can't do anything but die, like the judge in the pig thing. You know, like it's only up to Jeff. You know, like. If Jeff just walks along, I don't like that because that is just Jigsaw executing a person. He tied someone down and he's drowning him. You know, there's no.
That's kind of like all 3 of the test subjects.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Yeah, like I don't like. I was just using him as an example. Like none of them really have a choice. I think it worked here, mostly, but later on it starts to happen more where there's traps that no matter what, someone has to die, and it's kind of like, well, this is really losing the point. So I think it's a good thing for the series, but this is when it starts to take a turn for me. So that's one thing. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jeff. That's my biggest thing in here is I think I like what they're going for, the really big emotional thing with overcoming this journey of getting over the death of your child. But I actually don't think it's a writing thing. I think it's a acting thing. I don't think he's the greatest actor, and I think if he had someone that could maybe portray that emotion a bit better. The best stuff in this movie for me is the Jigsaw and Amanda stuff, especially Amanda. I think she steals this movie. She's the best part of it. She has like such a good journey, and you get to see from the flashbacks to the end, like she actually has an arc and she's changed so much. Where in horror movies that usually doesn't happen. I always throw that out, like that's why I love these movies. She changes a lot. Jigsaw's like at his peak of like messing around with people in this game. Like he has 3 separate games going on at once. Like that's a lot for a guy with a brain aneurysm or whatever. He just had open brain surgery. He's still smarter than I ever will be. So for me now, like we'll talk about them later, but for me it's literally dead in the middle as far as the Saw movies. There's a lot of other ones that are worse than this. There's things I really, really like about the Jigsaw Amanda stuff, and there's traps I really like, and then there's traps that I don't like in characters, and Lynn's fine. She's there, you know, like for me, I guess it's the biggest thing is the main characters I'm not really that into. But the rest of the movie, I think it's good, and it would have been a nice little close up to the trilogy, you know. But obviously, this was the highest earning Saw movie as well. So yeah. So
this is the one where that other guy gets introduced, right? The one that I'm trying to say it without spoiling anything.
I don't think you can.
He was the one controlling the ice block, I think. This is the movie where he's introduced.
Yeah, you don't want to say that. That would be too spoiler.
I don't know what that means. So.
Yeah. As someone that hasn't seen it, so yeah. Where do we want? Let's start with Jeff. Let's start with.
Well, yeah. Okay. So when it comes to the traps that those 3 people are in, I'll actually disagree because yes, they may not have the physical control, but they can still, and you see it through the judges that he convinced Jeff or he talked him down or he.
Yeah.
And it worked, right?
Yeah.
He got out of that trap, and then he got fucking hit by the shotgun. But
I hate that shotgun scene because it was like, we need to kill the judge off before he goes to Jigsaw. How's it gonna happen? I got it. And he lets go the thing, the judge just stand there, gets shot. I felt like that. I hate that scene because it's just so lazy of oh, he saved this judge. Oh no, they just killed him off. Just want to throw that out there. I hate that part.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But I mean, even the girl in the ice room, she kind of was in the same situation where she was getting to a point of explaining it to him, and then it was just too late because. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like he was quite confused, and he was still trying to figure out what he wanted to do.
He kind of seems confused
where the
all
fuck
the
he was.
time.
I mean, you would be. You wake up in this box, and then all these demons start popping out, right?
Yeah. No, I do think you're right. I think it's just, you'll see later on, I think they do the same thing later, but it gets worse, where I think this kind of spawned the idea of, we have a character that starts from point A and has to get to point B, and to raise the stakes, they're well, we gotta make it more better than 3, and it's well, no, and no, I think you're right with the talking down. There's
I think the reason it's fine is because it's not random people,
these
are all people who we've already seen throughout the other movies that Jigsaw's reasons for putting people in these death traps is like highly inconsistent,
They're
and like
skipping work.
these people probably don't deserve to die. So the fact that these people did like at least something wrong,
Yeah.
then it's, I don't know, it kind of justifies it a bit, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think. What do you think about actual Jeff though? Because you brought him up. What do you think about the character?
Yeah, I wish he said more because.
Yeah, he doesn't talk.
Yeah, you can only get so much from his reactions, and he mostly just seems like confused, and then like at the last second he like starts screaming and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a great character by any means, but I feel like I'm kind of used to characters in the series now that are. Maybe not like fully realistic. Like the people in the first Saw movie. Like, they know they have, like, 6 hours, and they spend half of it doing fuck all. And
we're out of time.
And, like, Matthews is just, like, a raging beast beyond, like, even, like, understanding. Like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I feel like I'm just kind of at a point where, like, okay, these characters maybe aren't fully realistic, but I can still kind of get myself in the mind space and try to understand, like, from the movie's world perspective, like, what these characters are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a little more used to what these characters in these movies are. Because it's pretty obvious at this point that they're going for something that isn't realistic with these characters.
Yeah.
Or they're just failing, but
yeah.
they're not, I don't think they're failing because I'm still enjoying these movies. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Jeff, Jessica?
Yeah, as we're sitting here, I'm trying to remember back to any lines.
He threatens Amir at one point with a gun. He
That's
does
true.
do that.
It's true.
And then he says, "I forgive." He does say, "I forgive you," but it always ends to like the person dying, like. The guy hit his son, and he's like, "I forgive him," and he dies. And he's like, tells Jigsaw he forgives him, then cuts his head off with the chain. Or that's the thing I hate about that scene. He just like slits his throat with the chainsaw. He could have used any knife for that. The fact that he had to get the huge thing, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna cut his head clean off." When I saw it the first time, he just slits his throat. It's like, okay. He didn't.
And at first, it almost looked like he's gonna like cut his leg off. Whoa, is this guy gonna torture him a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was there. I think there was a lot of things where you just kind of like, what are you doing? It was really stupid decisions. Him trying to get out of the box is, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I just remember being super disappointed. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
He just rocks back and forth for a while, and then he falls and knocks out.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
To be fair, you don't like know that you're in the air.
No, but it like rocks back and forth, and then the bottom drops out, doesn't it?
No, he kicks part of it.
The whole thing
out,
falls
and
off, and it
falls.
just like
Okay.
smashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have any feelings towards him. He was just kind of in the movie to help the plot move along.
Yeah.
So.
And see, I think
Well,
that's why I don't like him,
he
though.
still makes decisions though. He just doesn't use
But-
words.
He does, but he doesn't really have, other than being
Picture
depressed.
him as like a mute. He just can't speak. You know, there's still stuff going on. He's still making decisions.
But he's not a mute. Other than like being depressed, he doesn't really have. That's why I like Matthews and Gordon and Adam, because they all have like characteristics of like asshole, like crooked cop, like flaky guy, like loser. What is Jeff? Like he's nothing, like and I get it because they're playing up the like depressed thing, but I can't like. It sounds bad. He has a dead child, and I can't even connect to him. I'm just kind of like, okay, like I want to get back to like your wife and Amanda and Jigsaw and everything. Like this is kind of boring.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter everything that happened in his game because it's just the end result that comes with it.
Because he's never ever put his life at risk, right? So no matter what, he's gonna get to where Lynn is. So it's like even then, if you think about it, if he did none of those traps, he could have kept walking, just got those keys every time, just got there a lot quicker. Like if he wouldn't have tried to save these people, maybe his wife wouldn't have got fucking shot by Amanda. So really, saving these people, which he didn't save any of them, really just screwed himself, his daughter, his wife. So really, Jeff.
Yeah, and then of course there's the whole shotgun thing where why wouldn't you say I'm pulling on the cord with the fucking shotgun?
I think he did it on purpose. No. I shouldn't have said this, Judge.
Yeah, well, you've realized there's a box with a shotgun, so why would you turn around and stand directly in front of it to look around?
I'll give him props
Not
on
great
time
stuff.
that though. I wouldn't have the patience for that. I hate little knots like that. So
Especially when there's a shotgun. If you fuck up, you get.
Well, it
That's
ended up going off anyway, so why not just like...
yeah, really. Well, I guess that part was supposed to be that maybe if you did that, your shoulder arm might get blown off, but
yeah,
I don't know if it was
you don't want that to happen.
logistically working out. So
I don't know the logistics of a shotgun.
yeah, Taylor, you have any same words for?
You know a lot about shotguns.
I meant for
I do.
If we ever play charades, we know what that is. It's a shotgun. Is it magic?
Oh, Jeff. You know, I feel like the best acting he did for this movie was him waking up in the box.
Wow.
At least he's actually
He really
trying-
portrayed what it's like to wake up in
Yeah, he actually did something about it and like kicked the box and fell and
And
then...
he would have known he was in the air because the box swung.
No,
Didn't?
it's kind of rocked, but I
Yeah.
mean
It
it
was
didn't...
on a forklift.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so it's not gonna do that if you're fully supported on the ground. I know this. I worked at Target.
Have you been?
You got in a box in a forklift?
You've been drugged and then put into a box
I've seen
on
the
a forklift?
I've seen the forklifts working. I realized the logistics. I watched Dylan work while I stood around and did nothing.
And Taylor was up in the box.
Yeah.
I was. No one else knew that. Not even Dylan.
Oh. Now I'm evil. Okay, great.
No, yeah, Jeff, I mean, I thought it was very cool, his kind of, his kind of journey and his story. I thought it was very, very neat how we got to see that and how it was just about him kind of redeeming himself and just learning to forgive and
He
let go.
doesn't though.
He
That's
doesn't,
the
not
problem.
at all. And that's what I was getting to. It irks me that he went through all these different things, and you know, really at the end you think, oh wow, he just drops the "I forgive you," and it was very uncalled for. But then he pulls the little saw out, and he's like, "I forgive you," and like,
Okay, he didn't repeat it.
well, he said it.
I forgive you.
He said it after he said it again. After
Yeah,
he
yeah.
killed him.
You just made it sound like he sounded very angry.
No.
Like he's cutting him like I forgive you.
I mean, well, like, if I was, like, the judge, for example, and I was having rotten pig being spewed on me, the last thing I would yell, I was like, you can't do this, I'm a federal court judge. I wouldn't say that to this guy. This guy has all the power.
Yeah, that was a...
Why are you going to threaten him? It's the stupidest thing to do. And yet he does it anyways. But, I mean, he gets free, obviously, which is good, but it doesn't really matter. I mean,
Is he free?
Is he
He
really
has to
free?
walk around for an hour with pig guts on him, then he gets
Yeah.
shot in the head. And even then, when he gets shot in the head, he's still alive for a few seconds. You can see him still breathing.
Those are some pretty bad seconds.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't
did he
remember those
really?
seconds.
Did he really win?
I feel like at that, like, when they got to that dude, and, like...
Yeah, honestly, that's better than, I feel like, drowning in pig guts. Don't you think?
I don't
Well,
know.
it wasn't instant, though.
What the shotgun?
The shotgun,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
feel, and then you still have.
Yeah,
the
but it's,
smell
like,
of
pretty
pig
much
guts.
instant.
I think I'd rather the shotgun than sitting there.
But you have to
drowning.
consider that, like, if you do take the shotgun option, you also have to walk around for an hour with pig guts on you.
And with Jeff,
With
which
Jeff.
is probably unbearable.
And Jeff wouldn't talk to you. He would just, like, he gives everyone the
Well,
silent
I
treatment.
just thought we were talking about how we'd rather die between those two situations.
I probably would pick the shotgun. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. You know.
I don't know, like, there's one scene where it, like, gets in his mouth, like, he spits it out when he's trying to talk.
That was his
But-
fault. Close
yeah,
that
but-
mouth. What's happening?
Yeah,
you
how
see a big pig
disgusting
coming.
is that?
Yeah.
Like, you
Big
get, like,
pig coming.
Big
pig
pig.
shit in your eye or something. Like,
Ugh.
yeah. I don't know, not for me.
Yeah,
I'll take the
not-
shotgun.
I give the judge credit, you know, for trying to do his thing and help Jeff along. But I mean, when the dude who killed his daughter or his kid or whatever, like, when he was just, it gets to that point where, like, when his arms are twisting and you see the bullet splinter, I mean, that judge is trying to reach and get that key, and Jeff's just standing there.
No, the judge never does. The judge just like looks at it. And
No,
it's like,
he puts his hand in trying
Does
to
he
pull the
actually?
key.
Yeah,
okay,
he, like,
fair
moves
enough.
the trigger a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, but
I
then
don't think he saw the shotgun originally.
Okay, because my problem is during that scene, he's like, Jeff, what are you gonna do, Jeff? What are you gonna do? And he's like, it's gonna be okay, son. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you can help out too. Like, there was no rule in the movie so far, like, you can't help Jeff at all. So it's like, at least maybe like try to find a way. Like, but he's just like, what are you gonna do, Jeff? It's like, you're just as bad as he is.
Well, once Jeff gets the key, like I said, I watched this in quite a while. He goes for a really stupid body part, doesn't he?
It's one that's already broken.
Yeah.
He tries, it doesn't work, and he throws the key down. And then he gets up to his head and just tries to stop it with his hand. And that's where I'm like, is he really trying? Like, this is really lazy. Like, I put that in notes. Like, I hate when he throws the key. It's like, you're not going to stop these gears with your hand. And then he just gives up. And he's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, well, this guy doesn't understand that you're sorry. Like, he's dying. Like, I think this
That
is probably...
guy, like, they got the best actor for the guy who could just, like, open his mouth the widest and
yeah,
just scream in
yeah.
many different ways.
I had
Very
that in my
talented
notes.
actor.
Very good death actor. Like,
Yeah.
if I do a horror movie, everyone would get killed off.
I want to get that guy in the Geek first and just have him scream for, like, an hour.
That can be during the theme song or transition breaks.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? I will wait and see. I gotta rewatch them all, but I still think that for me is like the worst death out of any trap in the entire series. I'll have to wait, but if I had to pick one, at least that's the one I don't want to pick because that is a slow, painful. Your arm, it's not even like both arms at the same time. It goes one by one, like and then just his head gets like that's the worst. Like I'll take that chain any day. You know why? Because it's like, hey, if you rip these chains off, or the bomb's gonna explode. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna die by a bomb explosion because I ain't ripping these chains off. Like, but this one you have no choice. You can't just sit there and die. It's like you gotta go, and it's like. Oof.
Yeah, that one's brutal.
I don't know. The chain one is the worst for me.
But that's why I just wouldn't do it. I just would like, I'm out. I had a good life.
The only thing
I got to see the first Avengers.
The only thing about the chain though is just the one through the jaw.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you're supposed to deal with that.
I don't think you can really.
Well, that's not fair.
Is he actually?
Chris Angel does it all the time.
yeah.
Jigsaw. Season 3.
See, I don't know. The ones like the shoulders and the stomach and stuff like those ones are just kind of superficial, just skin deep. That's the one.
The Achilles tendon.
Like. Even just watching him kick his foot out and ripping out, oh my.
But that was my other thing when I watch it. Would you be physically strong enough to pull that through your jawbone though?
You would probably.
There's got to be some.
You probably break or rip. You have to go really hard. I know someone who's been punched in the face.
Who did this?
No, his jaw got split in half. He had to get his jaw sewn back together. So it is possible to break it down the center.
But his whole jaw.
All the bones in here, his teeth were like spread apart. Like he broke. So,
yeah, and I guess he was a muscly dude. I just wonder because like the trap is like already unfair. If this was just like something for him to tug on, like was he really gonna get it? You know.
Well, that's like you're saying. This is the movie where it starts to take that path. I think kind of like the traps start to get.
I mean, that one also like.
Well, they're not unfair. No. Don't misquote me. I said unfair because that's the one that's one of those rigged traps. That even if you got out of those chains,
are unfair.
I don't think so. Well, no.
Chances are, if you killed someone's kid and you're in this machine. I mean, you're fucked. I'm sorry, but you're fucked. Yeah. Especially when he has a shotgun connected to it.
there is a lot more steps you gotta take to free. You know, it's not just a needle pit anymore. It's like point A to point F now. So, yeah.
A to Jeff.
I don't know. At least with the shotgun, though, you do have a chance to like talk the guy into helping you and all that. With the one with the chains. There's nothing you can do. There's no one around to help you.
That's why I take the bomb every time.
See,
I'm like, it's gonna explode.
Wasn't there? I feel like there was probably some way when he only had that left, he could like find something to hide behind and then
a little desk.
That's what I'm thinking. Like maybe when he got all his hands free and he like could, maybe you can like just unclip it or something.
He was just pulling it. Remember, he's like, oh, like, he was pulling it for a bit. But that's what I still think. Imagine if you did that, but then you got to the door and it was welded. I'd be uber pissed. I'd be like, man, I just did all this.
Yeah, but it's like a classroom. Like, you know, I'm going to find another way out.
Well, probably I imagine they probably like barred the windows, right? You know, like so he was to do a.
But you also do have a bomb in the room with you.
Because the guy said, all he had to do was pull the chains and walk out of here.
Yeah, well, he was just breaking it down. You know, like
walk out.
His name is Hoffman, by the way. He's not a guy.
Hoffman. That's a classic.
He's a character that, like, for some reason
narc.
They retcon in this movie. He's Hoffman, forensic analyst. But because they kill Karoff in their movie, like, I think we need another cop. So in the next movie, he's just a detective randomly. Like, they change it. So, like, he spent his whole life being in forensics, and then now he's a detective. Because, like, oh yeah, I guess Matthews and Carey are gone. We need a job. Like, hey, Hoffman, you were in the last movie. But that always happens. If you look at how, well, other than Matthews, like Carey and Riggs were in the like we talked about that.
If you want to get a promotion, go work at that.
Yeah, if you have 2 scenes in a Saw movie, you're for sure a main killer character in the next one. So it's not a bad gig, you know. It's like
until you inevitably die.
It's like the Saw high school, you know. Like you get to grow. There's elementary school, middle school. Yeah, so
very cool. Just because you brought it up, do we want to talk about Carey's trap? Well,
yeah,
I was thinking that was
another rig trap. Yeah, because I've said everything on Jeff. I like him better the second we see him with Lynn. This last thing when he see with his wife and you get those flashbacks of them fighting. That's the only part where it seems like he's like emoting in a character, but that's only for literally 2 to 3 minutes. But yeah,
the one thing I was confused about was when he's getting all those pictures. He gets like his son and then his daughter, and then he gets the picture of himself, and I didn't know it was him because it's like it looks like it was taken like 5 or 10 years prior, and I was like, who is this guy? Who is this creepy guy with his kids?
Man, don't worry about Jigsaw. This guy's with your kids. So Carrie's trap. So yeah, Carrie to give a big run or small run in. She's like just.
No, let's go for a big rundown. I think.
Well, I meant small rundown because there's not much. She's still looking for Matthews, which I like because they really like set on that like. Clearly, they had more than just like a partnership. Like there was something there, and then she gets
They were hooking up Taylor time, you know.
Taylor, past 9, yeah, past 9, you're coming over. And then so she gets abducted in her house by Amanda with that camera in her closet, and then she gets the angel wing trap, which they call it, and it's a.
I was kind of surprised when she like sees the camera and she just shoots the door like 3 times. Like, I don't know, maybe like what if someone was just messing with you? What if it was like your friend? Or something? Unlikely, and it's a pretty messed up world they live in, but I don't know. I feel like you just shoot like the wall. You're shooting the walls of your house too. Like maybe check first.
She's watching her cousin Kevin McAllister from the Home Alone series. He just loves these little pranks. And she shot Kevin in the closet
3 times.
Like I get she's a cop, but maybe call. There's someone in my house.
I think it just show that she's so on edge. That's why. Because even when she says Rick, she's like, "Is it Eric?" Like she just comes bursting in. Like,
what is that voice?
She's auditioning for the Dark Knight. She didn't get it.
No,
But so she shoots closet, get put in that trap. It's an unfair trap. I don't think that trap is awful until the trap happens. If you were to get out of it, because does acid actually work that quickly? Because I don't know if it does. I've seen something that does, and then I've seen it pour where it takes like a little while for her to put her hand right away.
But it's steaming though, right? So it's like if you put your hand in a boiling pot of water, it'd still hurt like hell.
Fair enough.
Plus, if that's acid.
But you know what her problem is?
Not good.
She puts her hand in and then takes it out immediately. When you go in, you gotta prepare yourself. You're like, I'm going in once.
So wobbly. I'm thinking like pour some of the acid
I
out.
thought she tried.
It's designed to, in the special features, they say it's designed you couldn't pour.
But it's still wobbly enough. Like I think even some popped out. Like if she just gave it
I'm taking the director's word. I don't know.
Because I have that in my notes too. Like it's on 2 chains. You could literally just
But it looked like
pick
she
it up.
tried, but she couldn't do it.
Like,
Get the guy from the classroom. He'll be pulling those chains.
I mean, she whipped her hand up obviously because she didn't expect the amount of pain, but still
you gotta go for it.
Just suck it up and go for it.
Yeah.
Because the more blood you get in there, and now you can't even see where the key is.
Oh, I know it's Brit, and then you just got like a little skeleton hand going.
Skeleton hand.
And I love the way the trap looks when it like rips her apart. It's like
good.
great effects, great CGI, and the traps that I'll give, they're more gory, but I think there's a lot of imagination to them as far as they look visually cool, like with the chains, with the girl gets frozen, like they're all really visually cool. That's why the pig one is it's more gross. That one's just for me, it's fun gross, but it's also just kind of lazy. It's like we got this guy tied down and we're just drowning. Where all the other traps really, really I think really cool, and they're just we're just gonna drown this guy because we spent our budget.
That pig moment was another one for me where it's like, man, where does Jigsaw get all this shit from, man? Where did he just get? He has a lot of pigs.
Listen,
that's a lot of pigs.
Listen, it's explain where he gets the tools. Never explain where he gets the pigs, though. That he didn't he wasn't a farmer in a previous life. He's I got livestock. Yeah, because he does.
Give me a grossest pig.
He does have an amount, a huge, outrageous amount of pigs. They just keep coming and coming. But he needs to make those masks, I guess, right? So he has to have them ready.
Oh yeah, good point. Because those don't stay fresh very long.
No.
One use. You get to capture one guy.
Yeah.
So for everyone in the house in that episode 2, there was 7 pigs they needed for that. For that to happen.
Well, 6 because they got Albie to help them out.
They got Albie.
So 6, they got a deal. That's why they got an apprentice guy.
Save on pigs.
Is there anything more to add on Carrie's trap or anything like that? Or Carrie's a character, very quick in and out. Just I think it's just to show that Amanda is and once again I kind of get their motivation. They say that she's not valuing her life because she's obsessed with the dead, but then at the same time it's kind of her job, it's kind of her job to hunt down people like you. So it's kind of that thing where it feels like you more just want to get the heat off you, so you're gonna tell yourself we're doing this because you don't value life, right? Yeah, that's how Jigsaw and Amanda are talking in the room, and then I do like that though. This brings up a point when Amanda walks out, you don't see her face. Yeah. And you don't see Jigsaw for a good 15 minutes. I like that if you were to see this for the first time, you don't really know the killers and what's going on. They still leave that mystery. And I like that you don't actually know. They spoiled it in the movie coming out because the previews, you saw Jigsaw. But if you watch the series without any previews, you could think there's a possibility that Jigsaw just died in between 2 and 3, right? Because you don't see him for a while. You meet Amanda.
People have thought that before.
What?
So.
Yeah, true, yeah. So, I like that.
Did they show him? I obviously did not see him in a preview.
For the third one?
Oh, for the third. I thought you were talking about for the new one.
No, I meant because
this comes back. I don't know how the fuck that happens.
I was really confused for a second.
They do show him previews for the other ones too. It's all flashbacks, Dylan. It's all
No, is that for Jigsaw, the new one coming out?
Well, there is a freeze frame that could be him. People have not figured out if it's Flash, but they've announced he's back. So I'm not sure if it's just his voice or probably more flashbacks. But there is something in the trailer where some people think it could be him because it's this old guy, but you can't see his face, So
Any old guy is now Jigsaw.
Old man Jigsaw.
Old man Jigsaw.
Biggest storyline of the year.
They're gonna do just Logan, but with Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Like he's really mad about. Never
Don't
mind.
spoil it.
Yeah, for Logan.
Yeah.
He saw it.
You saw it
I made
already,
him
yeah.
watch
Yeah,
it.
I made it.
I gave him my DVD. I'm like, you're watching
He
this.
set you up in that chain trap and you put it on. So
Yeah.
Go check out our Logan review.
Who do we want to talk about next? So yeah, Carrie gets taken out with me. Let's talk about Lynn before we get to Jigsaw and Amanda because there's probably more. What do you guys think about her? I love the setup of the dupe that guy in the bed's her wife when he leaves. Or her husband.
Yeah.
It's the guy from the float. No, like that when she leaves, she's like, what do you want? He's like, a divorce. I think this movie has a few clever twists. That's what I do like at the end, and that's one.
What I like about that twist is that, like, that one is, out of all of them from the 3 movies now, like, that one's, like, the most obvious. Like, I kind of saw it coming when they mention, like, she mentions, like, a husband in one scene, and then he mentions
Jigsaw
a
talks
wife.
about the son, too. He's like, oh, let's talk
Yeah,
about your
exactly.
kids. And she's like,
And
wait.
it's pretty easy, like, you kind of put it together before it's, like, actually revealed. But I like that was kind of like it's like a red herring, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, this is the twist of the movie. Just kidding. There's, like, actually, like, 2 other twists going on.
See, and I didn't. Granted, I saw this, like, when I was much younger, so
Right.
maybe my film prowess now, but I didn't. So when Lynn
I
came up,
think I was
like,
at a point where I was like, okay, I know there's that scene at the beginning with her and some other dude,
yeah.
but they have some explanation. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know that part of the twist, but
Yeah, there's always something.
there's some
yeah.
explanation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like how that twist kind of serves as like being more obvious or like more superficial one as opposed to like the deeper stuff that's going on with the more character stuff. And I really like Lynn. I mean, she's not, I just think she does her role perfectly, and she may not be like, she might not have the most depth or anything, but I really like her scenes with Amanda. I think there's like a lot of tension between them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like the way they film it too, how it's just like one of them is on one side of the bed and on the other side of the bed of Jigsaw, so they're kind of just like talking over top of him, and I don't know, I think it's really well done. So I really like the character.
Yeah. No, yeah, I like her too. She's not going to appear on any of my like top 10 Saw characters. She's just kind of there as like to get us from point A to point B. But where the other way with Jeff, I feel like she's a better actress, so that's the way I kind of like it. And yeah, I do like all the stuff she has with Jigsaw. I love the way that Jigsaw kind of uses her in his game with Amanda to like make her jealous and everything like that. So I think like as like what she's in the plot for, she acts it well and she's written well, and the brain surgery scene is great. Yeah. Big standout.
Well, and they do have that nice kind of introduction to her, like, in the hospital, where all of a sudden she just, like, busts in, fixes everything right away, like, showing how good she is with her
Just
job.
pushes that poor male doctor.
The classic Doctor Strange moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, exactly what you guys have said. She's definitely better than Jeff, and...
Wow, yes.
I've never seen these two in anything else, though. That's one thing. That's funny, so, I'll be looking out for it.
I won't be looking out for Jeff.
Maybe they're actually husband and wife, and this is a true story of their life.
Wow.
Oh,
True story.
True story.
That's why she's not in anything else.
Yikes.
Yeah, because she's got her head going
She doesn't
on.
have a head, yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of need a head to be an actor.
Hard to
these
get
days.
roles for
It's
that.
very superficial business we're in.
So, I do like the connection between her and Amanda. It is... you do feel the tension between them. It's not just like an emotionless kind of scenes with them. And I do like, she has a lot of good reactions when she's told different things. That it will explode if she leaves the premises, and that, she's going to have to perform this surgery, and she's acting like completely freaked out. And, when he starts to lose his pulse and she knows her head's going to be blown off, I feel like her reactions are really good for that as well.
Yeah, I liked her and Amanda. I thought they had a really good chemistry, and I like how she was like, she tried to like put a new kind of perspective into Amanda, or like try to like get a point across, even though it wasn't really working. No, but I mean,
She's pretty strong-headed, Amanda.
A for effort, I guess. But
Is it? Because
actually,
Amanda shoots her. I think it's kind of
I feel like Lynn was very... I mean, she had that, like, cold kind of doctor description for a lot of things, I feel like. So, I don't know if
she is a partner of Dr.
she was kind of
Gordon's.
just like,
so.
I can't make miracles, and she was, I don't know, very just kind of savage for someone in this situation. You'd think you'd be very sympathetic and like try
Well,
to.
he does say that though, Jigsaw. Remember, that's one of the things he says when the reason
Yeah.
you're here is, you're too cold.
Yeah.
But really, it's just like, Jigsaw, you could have just felt like a quiz or like a survey. You didn't have to put her in this trap.
I feel like I would be cold in that situation too. You guys fucking kidnap me, put a exploding neck brace on me. Like, why the fuck would I want to save you?
Yeah.
To live.
Yeah, well, besides that,
For your daughter.
that's a non-issue.
Yeah.
I think I do like her acting wise more than Jeff. Jeff is just his own thing. I think he's funny, but I think she's she very much acted really good, and she portrayed those like moments of just being like, oh, I got this thing on my neck. This is not good.
Oh, I had this thing on my neck. Waka waka.
At the end of the day, it sucks to be her.
Does.
I mean, you have. I mean, granted, you and your husband, you're not doing too good, and you're gonna get divorced, all this stuff. But I mean, like,
I don't think they would have got divorced if she made it out, honestly.
Yeah.
True.
At that point, you make it work.
This,
You don't experience that with many people.
Yeah.
If I was there, like, saying, Jeff, and the husband's just, like, he's so caught up in his anger, and it just pisses me off, thinking, like, why do you gotta be so caught up in your rage? When Jigsaw's just like, you know what, you could forgive me and let it go, or you can use these tools here.
If you look at it, she's the only one that kind of really wins her game, because all she has to do is keep him alive, and she does. So that, like, her getting shot by Amanda, like, that's not really her fault. Amanda loses the game. Jeff, like, kills Jigsaw. Jigsaw dies, so I take that as like a loss for Jigsaw if you die. So like, obviously she dies too, but her job was to do that surgery, keep him alive. She did it, and then she just kind of standing there and then lost. So like, out of everybody, like, she's the one that probably deserved to live the most out of as far as like doing everything, and she kicks the bucket with Jeff.
I don't know why, but I just find this part so funny when, like, she's saying, like, Jeff, and Jeff, like, pulls up the saw,
Yeah.
and Jeff cuts the neck of Jigsaw, and Jigsaw dies, but then his hand flows out with the walk.
Yeah, it's such. I want a meme like it looks like when that like the glasses fall on them and it goes back and white. It's like gangster. Or whatever. That's like your throat gets slit, but he's still gonna play the game. And that's exactly it. He's just like, oh yeah,
I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make her with the glasses because he just casually comes
and
up
he's like smiling while he's dying.
Yeah.
Too. It's like man, you're
Jeff. Like it's so good.
Yeah. He's prepared, man. He had all of it, and he was even making another tape already.
Yeah.
While he was dying. So it's like he's.
I'm just wondering what game he had set up for Jeff, because at the end of it, he's like, "We're gonna play another game."
Well, you find out in the next movie.
Yeah. Well, we're not getting there.
Well,
It's his daughter, isn't it?
What?
Getting his daughter back.
Yes, but you'll be surprised. It takes a Saw twist to go
yes.
that route. Yeah.
But the other thing too, it's like his tape is if you're listening to this, it's like you fucking know he's listening to this. You just like snuck it out and can't play.
It's just for his morality. Because he's like, I hope he didn't kill me. So if you're listening to this, but
At this point, it's you got to do it. It's just part of the ritual.
yeah. We've talked about her a bit already. Next to Lynn, let's talk about Amanda, because I think she has the biggest. I always feel like every Saw movie, like I talked about this, like every character kind of gets a moment to shine more than the other ones. And like the first one obviously is Gordon Adam. The second one I feel is very much like Jigsaw's movie. Even though Matthew's a big thing, like Jigsaw, you learn everything about him and his origin, yada yada yada. This one I feel is very much Amanda's movie, because you literally see her back from the first one all the way to now. And like, I guess I'll start because I'm going. I love the way that she's very weak. She starts helping Jigsaw. Even when she starts helping Jigsaw, she's still really unsure.
Scared,
And then she's scared, and then she's almost questioning that if this is a good thing, because she goes back in and kills Adam, so you can tell that she's kind of going against Jigsaw's like method. But then she goes against Jigsaw's method in a different way, where like she was kind of unsure about the killing, unsure about the motive. She accepts it, but then once she accepts it, she goes too far, and then she starts just flat out killing people because she rigs the trap. So I love the progression of like this victim to this uncertainty to like this over like kind of egotistical power, because you feel like she's like one of the main reason why she kills Matthew is why it was my nickname. She literally just gets set off by him saying like, you're not Jigsaw, and she's such a loose cannon. She turns around and goes kills him. Like, I love the progression, and maybe it's that moment where she kind of switches after she kills Matthews, and like I think, and maybe in the whole series, she has the best progression from a character from point A to point B, because that's a character arc. That's and you get to see it through the flashbacks. If you didn't have those, you wouldn't really understand. But the flashbacks, I think, between the one where she kidnaps Adam, where they set the bathroom with Matthews, like, they do a fantastic job setting up. So I think she's. And Shawnee Smith is great in this movie when she has that scene with Lynn and she's like, you could knock me out. But then that would maybe be a little difficult because if you pull this, it might blow off and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, because I built it. Like, she's so good. She has lots of, like, she has to show everything off in this movie. So, yeah, I was a big fan of Amanda. And I remember just even when I watched it live the first time, when she died, I was like, oh, clearly what's going to happen? It was like, Jigsaw dies and we go on with Amanda. And then when she dies, like, what? You know, and then it was like, oh, maybe they're not making another one. And then, like, 2 days later, like, Saw 4 coming out next Halloween. You're like, okay, I don't understand, but sure. But yeah, I love Amanda in this movie.
Like you said, like, her journey she really progressed and changed throughout 3 movies, which is really cool to see, because it can be, some characters can be really stagnant. I mean, like, but her is just this huge journey of being so weak and then just turning into a very strong character. I mean, who's still got some flaws and is weak at the same time, but is just still trying to learn and how to figure her own kind of self and journey out while trying to adapt these lessons and motives that Jigsaw has. And like, she does definitely take it too far and puts her own kind of twist onto it. And it goes to show, like, how an idea that like even though it is a awkward idea that Jigsaw made, like, it still can, like,
awkward idea. Hey folks at Thanksgiving dinner, let me tell you about this idea I got going.
It goes to show, like, how, like, an idea can just really make people really commit, and, like, it turns weak people into strong people and they can believe in it and everything. But then even then, like, it can get taken too far, or, like, someone who creates an idea for this specific point of view or whatever can be turned around and then used not the way it's supposed to be. And just,
well, yeah, she doesn't really think she's doing too much wrong. Like, she thinks, like, she's taken the idea, she says that Jigsaw, like, oh, this person doesn't deserve to live, and then he's kind of like, well, everyone deserves, like, a chance. And she kind of takes his moral, but, like, twists it, but not meaning to. Yeah. She just takes it, like, the wrong way, you know, like, she runs with it, and it's like, oh, well, that's not really what I wanted you to do with this, you know, and that's why Jigsaw obviously tests her. So, like, I think that's a good thing when you said there, like, she gets the message, but kind of in the wrong way, you know?
Yeah, like, it's something that, I mean, you could relate to so many things, like, just, like, taking things the wrong, or taking good things, or not good things, taking something like that and just running with it the wrong way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You got there.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but you got there.
Yeah, I think she's, like, amazing in this movie. I love how, at the start, she's so, like, I guess, like, pretty smug. Like, with that scene when she first... she has, like, Lynn in the wheelchair, and she just, like, you know, unhooks the brakes and is crawling around. Then she does that thing where she just, like, slides on her feet. Like, I don't know, I love that little detail, because it shows how, like, confident and how, like, how much she just loves doing this fucking completely disgusting thing that she does.
Yeah, like, she doesn't look like the way she looks at the end, where she's, like, really shattered and broken character. Like, you think, like, oh, she's really in control. Like, if you just take that Amanda, it's like, oh, she's clearly ready for this. There's no problems going on here. And then it just, like, slowly, like...
Yeah, and then I love all the flashbacks. It really just brings it all together, because she has definitely the most interesting story of everyone so far. Like, in the first movie, she was just, like, this survivor, like, the one person who has survived this Jigsaw killer. And then in the second movie, obviously, she's, like, in on it, but you don't know that the whole time, at least the first time you're watching it. She's just she's, like, put back in this trap. Why is she put in this trap again? And the third one, obviously, she's, like, kind of orchestrating all of it. And yeah, I think it's just, she's always been, like, a really fun character to watch. And it's funny, because you watch the first, like, when I first watched the first movie, and she's just, like, in this trap, and she just seems like, you know,
nothing.
Just a character who, you know, you'll see one time and then that's it.
Plot device. Survive.
Exactly. Like, I love how much she's kind of grown and just become, like kind of like the biggest character out of, like, all these movies, you know, and definitely the biggest arc out of anyone, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the dynamic at the end, how, you know, Jigsaw reveals that this whole game that he had up for Lynn is really actually, like, her game, and he even, like, says at the very beginning, he says, like,
he looks at her.
Your game has started. The game has started, Amanda. So he, like, straight up says it to her as well. And so, yeah, I mean, just the turn on her face when she's kind of getting ignored by him, and she feels like she's done everything for him.
Jigsaw's holding Lynn's hand.
Yeah, and he's just fucking with her so hard. And I love it, because he just brings up, like, the points that, you know, you made these traps that are unwinnable. Yeah. I don't know, he just totally calls her out for her shit, and even
At
though
the end,
she's had a pretty rough road, to be fair.
yeah. At the end, he keeps laying on thick because he's like, "Oh, Lynn has survived." And he's like, "What about your traps?" And she's like, "Fuck you." And it's like, "What about Matthews?" It's like every time, like you're like, "Oh, he's brought everything up." He's like always like throwing something at her, like shake her more to see like how quickly. And I do like when she dies, like he's upset about it. Like he can't even look at her. You know, that's why it didn't come off. Because I remember watching the first time, it's like, oh, it's coming off kind of really callous. Like he's just like it's just another thing to him. But like it showed that he cared. He just wanted to make sure that she was going to be set up for when he was gone. But obviously,
that didn't go so well.
Game over.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's an amazing character.
Mm.
So I have it in my notes, but I'm not sure if I maybe took it the wrong way. So this movie starts off where the last one ended. Like the exact same scene.
Yeah, with Matthews. Yeah, in the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So then her hair is quite short. Like she's got her little bob from the house.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the like freezer, cooler, wherever they are, she's got quite long hair. So there seems to be this weird time jump.
I think it's supposed to be because like when they go to the chain guy, they kind of all assume it's not like they assume Jigsaw was dead because Riggs is even like, how is he doing? It's like he was on his deathbed last time I saw him. So I think there was a time where they went missing for a while.
But I mean, there's one scene in the beginning where it says Matthew's been missing for 2 months now. You need to give up or something like that.
Well, she has some great hair growing ability.
Maybe it's those wigs they wear with the pig masks.
She's just wearing a wig all the time. yeah, so I guess it's just her
continuity
hair.
error.
Yeah, or her hair grows fast in 2 months. You never know.
That as someone who chopped off all my hair 2 years ago.
That's
Sorry.
carpet.
God damn it. Why would you do that?
You want me to throw that towel on the ground?
Sure.
I didn't mean.
I wasn't going to use it to dry my body or anything.
I didn't mean to. Continue.
So
Count on Travis.
one thing too that I do like is there's the scene where she cuts her legs,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of shows that's like her breaking point again, where she goes back to like her self-harm. That was the reason that she kind of got into the whole mess in the first place.
I still disagree with you on that though, because I think the reason she's in the first trap is just because she's like a junkie, and there's like other reasons, and then I think like the second trap she's just a pawn, and they did the cutting to make it look like she was suicidal, and they put her in there. I think this is something she picks up in between 2 and 3. I honestly do. I think the pressure of living with that guy and him playing all his games all the time, I think that's what gets her. I don't think she was self-harming the whole time since we met her now. I think that's something new that she picks up.
I think that she probably did start in 2, and I think that was they just used it as part of the plan, because the reason people cut on their legs is so it's not seen, right? They wear pants or shorts and can cover it. So I feel like she's doing it there so Jigsaw doesn't see it.
Yeah, I think I agree with your perspective of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like her breaking point of going back to something that originally she wasn't supposed to be doing and Jigsaw got mad for.
Yeah.
So I always saw that as kind of her breaking point, where now she's kind of not keeping it together anymore. I do really like that scene too, the whole, like, you can try and run, but you'll still die.
Yeah.
All of, the confidence in that. I don't remember the slide, I'm sorry to say, though, so.
The what?
The slide that she does.
Oh, it's just like when she's pushing the wheelchair.
It's just very minor.
She just like rolls onto your like top of her feet kind of thing. It's just like minor.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely picked up on the things too that, like, she's told already that it's her game. And at this point, you should know to just listen to what he's saying, because every game he's told everyone how to win.
That's our downfall, though, right? The
Yeah.
overconfidence that she just kind of thinks she's the heir apparent to the throne. Yeah.
All her acting, I thought, was pretty good. Points where she's just breaking down and, like, holding the gun to Lynn. Watching her, like, be hurt while he's having the operation, and he starts to die, and she's freaking out. I think there's a lot of really good scenes with her. I think she does a really good job. Yeah.
I thought there was a butt.
I thought there was a big butt.
Well, let's talk about the man. It's a swan song, Jigsaw. What do we think? He spends a lot of time just, sitting around, again.
He does.
Not too much
I
walking.
wouldn't say sitting, per se.
Laying. Well, I guess first one laying on the belly, second one sitting, this one.
Yeah, he doesn't move a whole lot.
No. For a guy that sets up a lot of traps, he likes to conserve his energy when he's not setting up traps.
Is he a paraplegic in real life?
No, he's not.
He gets up at the end of one and walks away.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Jigsaw in this movie. I think the actor again does a really good job. I think it's just because it's not necessarily, like I said, for me it doesn't feel like his movie. It feels like Amanda's movie, and then it still feels like Jeff and Lynn's movie. I feel like he's more of almost like a MacGuffin to push things forward as far as like he's directing these characters in the past they're going. You get some character stuff with him, but it's very minor. Yeah, and I just think like acting wise he does a great job. Like as far as the way he speaks and the subtle like tonal shifts he'll have when he's talking to Lynn or Amanda, and like it's just this one where the character is still good. You don't learn too much more about like mythology, but we kind of have it established after two of like this is the way he is. He's not changing, you know, he doesn't have much time left. So no matter what you talk to him, like there's not much of a big morale discussion on this one. It's like, okay, this is what he's doing, and I think Tobin Bell does great. Tobin Bell does great the rest of the series. I still think 2's his best, but that's just because he gets like a lot of good meaty material. So I think it's good, and I like all the twists that he, you know, partakes, and I love his, you know, tape flying antics. So, yeah.
Tape flying antics.
Yeah.
He doesn't disappoint. Since he had me at Assassin's Creed, like he's just badass and shotgun.
Machine guns.
I think even though he was sitting in the back seat for this movie, it felt like, you know, he still just comes off as being just a dominant character, and I love how he's always pulling the strings throughout the whole thing. Like he knows all, he sees all, and like you can't play him. Like you can play a player, but you can't play him. And
okay,
you play a player. Here to her first, folks.
Yeah.
He's just, I love how like he's always thought about the bigger picture and like his idea and everything, and just it comes back down to like he knows how people think, he knows what they're gonna do, and sure enough, even though he's gonna die, he's gonna have his hand just pop that tape recorder out. And if you're listening to this,
imagine if he like dropped it though before he played.
Oh,
like,
he wouldn't have. No.
3 movies leading to this point.
Yeah.
Like, even though, like, the game, like, it was Amanda's game, really, like, he still had his own game going in the background, and, I wonder, like, if Amanda must have known that it would have come to that, like, Jigsaw probably would have died, or, I'm wondering, because, like...
to what?
Like, to Jeff killing him, or if maybe Amanda...
I don't think she had that part played out in her mind, because she didn't even know Jeff and Lynn were linked, remember?
Yeah.
He kept that from her.
So you think then, like, if she was alive in that sense, and then Jeff got there and she saw that this was part of the game, that Jeff had to make the choice to forgive or kill Jigsaw, how do you think she would have reacted to that?
Probably not well, but I think Jigsaw would have had to do the same thing as always, to try to like talk her down, right, and hope for the best and say this is part of his game.
Tape recorder for her.
Yeah, he probably had 5 just in case one of these options. It's like an RPG. It's like whatever the ending is. So yeah, I think like Amanda just assumed that if Jeff completes his game, he just like goes home, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Just goes home.
Yeah, I don't think she was expecting
But she
to
would
get
have
shot.
had to help set it up. She would have to know it's in the same building.
Yeah, but maybe she just thought... But he does, though, at the end, you see a flashback of him walking around putting those pictures, right? So maybe he did go and do certain things that she didn't know about.
Close the door and lock it.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna go with that door. Not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets me excited to see him or not really see him, who knows, but see his
You have
character in
seen him
Jigsaw.
all?
I mean, in Jigsaw.
Oh, in Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what happens in the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Jigsaw once again does a perfect job of acting as like the kind of conductor behind it all, and he continues to know more things that like you would think Amanda would know everything, but no, keeps even more from her than anyone else. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like the second one is obviously more where he's a little more lively, you know. He's sitting up and he's
drinking water.
He's drinking water. He has to be fed water in this one by Amanda.
He gets his ass beaten by Matthews. A lot of physical activity there.
So yeah, I mean, in this movie, I think his moments are still good in all of his dialogue, and he's a really interesting character. But he doesn't have quite as much like content as he did in the last ones. But yeah, he's still a great character, and I love the twists. And I'm guessing that was his wife in those like weird flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if we ever find out what happens there.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say, I guess. You guys kind of said it all. Yeah, it's good.
I do really enjoy him. This movie really confirms. So like the first one, it's a good idea. The second one is more complex, but this one just really shows how in depth he goes with everything. There's so many pieces to it all coming together. It really makes you like open your eyes as to there's a lot of possibilities for what could still happen just because he's able to plan so much at once.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this movie though, I definitely was disappointed that that it's Amanda's movie. Like I think going into it, you're at the point where you kind of want to know about Jigsaw after.
Are you still disappointed though when you see the further ones that like Amanda's dead? Like
Well,
I think
it does. Like I enjoy.
yeah, because he comes back in flashbacks where Amanda's dead.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm just saying. Like that aside, I felt like not knowing where the series would go, when you think he's dead, it almost feels like a disappointment that you don't get more of his storyline in this movie because
fair enough.
you don't know that he's coming back at the end of 3 until 2 days later when they announce.
Yeah, and he's on the poster.
Yeah.
Like what?
Or you're in my situation where there's 5 more movies that have already come out.
Yeah.
So.
Did you think though, because of the series and the Jigsaw series, did you think he like died in the last Saw? Like the final chapter? Were you thinking that he made it that long?
What do you mean?
Jigsaw the character. Did you think he made it to like because the previews for Jigsaw are like, oh, he's been dead. How is he doing?
Well, before
this?
I watched the series, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I knew there was like that little clown dude, but I didn't know there was actually like a guy that was actually Jigsaw, and that little clown is used very sparingly. I thought that clown was like
Billy the
more
puppet.
common.
He's a puppet. Come on now.
Puppet, yeah. So I didn't know shit all.
Okay, I
To
mean,
be fair.
yeah.
So after you watched the first one though, and you found out that was Jigsaw,
Yeah.
or the second one, then what's?
I don't think I thought about it, but in hindsight, I would have thought, he probably just sticks around the whole time.
Yeah, like a main.
The weird
main
thing
part
is
of
he's
the
like
series.
on every poster and film cover for the next little while. There's movies where like he'll have like a few flashbacks, but it's like we gotta use him. He's our guy. He's our boy. Like he's the bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
Yeah.
I mean, I also thought he died in the second one at the end, but
Yeah. He was just sitting there chilling.
I was lied to.
That movie does that a lot.
Yeah.
This whole series does that a lot.
A lot of lying.
So, yeah, I really enjoy kind of how everything comes together. Obviously it's the writing, but I think it's really fun to see everything come together, and in theory that's part of his character. Yeah, he doesn't really have as much as the last one, so it is harder. It is Amanda's movie. But overall, he does a good job with what he's given.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Notes, I guess, unless there's anything. Obviously, we'll probably shut some stuff out on our notes, but anything, talk about all the characters, everything like that.
I like finally knowing what happened to Adam. How
Yes.
wasn't just left there. How Amanda went back and actually killed him. I think that's an interesting note. I guess we still don't. I rather don't know what happened to Gordon yet. He's still out there,
Yeah.
so that's fun.
Mhm. Yeah, and then I guess the other one, Matthew's gone too.
Matthews, yeah.
Were you expecting to pick up right from Saw 2, or because Saw 1, Saw 2, obviously they just in another situation. Were you surprised that we were starting right with Matthews, and did you think, oh, he has a chance to make out? Because I didn't touch
Yeah.
upon that. I saw in the theaters. I think that scene has still gotten the most groans when he breaks his foot with the toilet seat and like being a live audience. And he does that and snaps his foot. I remember the whole audience be like, oh, like everybody getting like,
Gross.
yeah.
Get this off my screen.
So when he was there, what were you thinking? Did you think, oh, he's going
I
to be
don't
a
think I-
character in this movie? Or
I mean, the first 2 movies started with, like, boom, here's a trap.
Yeah.
And it starts with that. So I guess I was probably expecting it to start with that same situation where, like, whether or not this trap has a lot to do with, like, the rest of the movie, it's just going to start off with, like, a cool trap. So that's probably what I expected, but I don't know. They switched it up a little bit, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know. I like that. I like that they started right with him. Just kind of answer that question, even though I guess they don't finish that. They start that question at the start of the movie. They don't answer it until like I think it's like the last half an hour, even, right?
Last 10 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
last
when
10
Amanda
minutes.
gets shot.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like the way it started. Kind of reminds you, okay, this is where we're at, and boom, you gotta wait a little bit longer.
So were you after, because obviously he like breaks his foot and then like fades to black and
he
it's like
does
Saw
break his
3.
foot.
Yeah, did you think, oh, he's going to be a main character, or were you kind of waiting throughout the whole movie to be like, oh, he's going to pop up, or did you forget about him after that?
You see, I didn't really think about it that much. Kinda-
So then you just
I was
forgot
kinda-
about him.
I was kind of just watching. I didn't forget about him, but I guess it comes clear pretty quickly that he's not like the main
Yeah.
guy in this movie
I
again.
think you do forget about him. I feel like it's just such a
They
small
definitely
little thing.
they bring it up
They
at the
never
very
did.
beginning and the very end, and then he's nowhere in the middle, I guess. So.
As a huge Matthews fan, the whole movie I was very stressed out because I was like, where the fuck is Matthews? I just want to see him. And then
Cliffhanger all the way to
Yeah.
Jigsaw coming out 27th.
then this doesn't get... that would have made me mad, yeah.
Him smashing his foot though is freaking. I still groan at it every time.
The brain surgery scene was worse for me.
Oh no, I thought that was a cool scene.
I think it is cool. I think it's very well done, like in terms of special effects and just the way they did it. But it's also fucking disgusting.
After he breaks his foot for the final time, his foot's like twitching. Great stuff.
A little twitch.
Yeah, great stuff.
I do think that's actually like the smartest way, as opposed to Adam just fucking accepting it and Gordon like cutting off his
Well, Gordon
foot.
didn't have the toilet seat though, right? And you can't trust Adam to throw
Adam's
that
kind of an
across.
idiot.
You
so.
can't trust Adam to throw that across the room to Gordon because we don't know how that would have went.
Yeah, but even if he didn't have that, he still should have cut off his foot not above the fucking ringlet around his ankle. It just doesn't make sense. Still bothers me. It's been how many years? Still bothers me.
I mean, he's a doctor, though, right?
Yeah, so he should know that you don't cut off the entire
He's a
fucking
cancer
foot.
doctor.
Do
though.
you know where the best place to cut off your own foot is?
Yeah, it's under the fucking chain.
He missed that day of
But
school.
he's trying to dodge the bone now. Is probably what he's doing. You know?
No, if anything,
So he's
you
going
would,
in between the
cartilage.
card.
no,
I don't know.
no,
what
you,
for.
then you would go if you're trying to go in where the connections are. You would go down in your ankle, not up in the middle of your leg,
Gordon
where you
wouldn't.
have to go through your.
This is on a whole new robotic angle or something. Probably.
He's on a fucking Marvel movie.
It's not a Star Fox game, maybe.
What note? Oh no. What notes do we have?
I don't know. I don't have much really.
Okay.
We brought up most of my stuff.
Let's see.
We got to do the classic. Which track would you choose?
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty much most of it was talked about. Like I have one that there was a lot of good additions from the first movie, and it seems like all the scenes were really fluid, almost like they were filmed at the same time.
Mm.
There's not really a big disconnect where you can tell like it's awkwardly filmed like 2 months later or something like that. I feel that they did a good job.
Except the Adam Key moment. They kind of messed that up. In the bathtub. When she throws the key on his chest. That's the only one mix up. You're like, okay, we forgot about that one. But other than that, you guys did 98%.
Yeah, that.
I love the bathroom flashback. I honestly do. It's probably my favorite flashback in the entire series. It's obviously just because nostalgia and it's the first movie, but the actual whole setup of it, like, and then because you asked that question if he could move, like you saw you put the whatever into him, so it like made him still and slowed his heart rate. Yeah, so like I like that they literally, because to me it made the first movie feel more realistic because so much stuff happens. You gotta be like, how do point A to point B, how does all this stuff happen flawlessly? But you see them set up with like just seeing little things like him putting the the glow in the dark like paint on the thing, you know, like that's the little stuff I really like. They really showed all the stuff, and like obviously it was like when you watch the first movie, you don't think about that, and they retcon it because also when you watch the first movie, you just think it's just one guy, but with the addition of Amanda, you're like, oh well, this seems a lot easier now that he has someone to help him out, you know, because when it's like if it's just him, it's like this is a little tough, you know.
Well, that kind of puts it more into the timeline too, because once you see him with Amanda, so you know kind of where things happen with her getting this trap. It's actually kind of like before all that happens because she's helping him. Yeah, which is kind of strange because Jigsaw was already like framing Gordon before like he even got Amanda on board because like Gordon sees that story and they found his pen, so shows how whenever Amanda turned him down, he's like, damn it. Why I left Gordon's pen there for nothing. That's what I've always wanted. It's like, what happens if one thing doesn't go... I feel like if one thing doesn't go right in like this movie, everything's gone. It's just like the cops find him and he's like, well, I feel like you're dumb now.
It seems like he's planned for all those scenarios, but I mean, there's so many scenarios, man. Like, how do you cover all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, he legitimately must have had like 5 or 6 tapes in his arm sleeve, ready to go when Jeff shows up.
Gives him the wrong one. It's like, hello, Carl. He's like, what? Damn it, I put the wrong tape in there. Remember?
Hello, John Kramer. What?
Yeah.
It's a weird timeline.
Joan tape.
Then I also have, so on the twisting rig, the one with
the rack.
The Wrath.
It's the rack.
The Wrath.
Is it the Wrath?
I think so.
I thought it was the rack.
The rack of Wrath. The Dothraki Wrath.
Okay, well that, whatever, the Wrath rig or Wrath.
The rig.
The one the drunk
The
driver.
rigmarole. Yeah.
So something too that I noticed is that there's actually pins in the trap, and no one tries to like loosen the pins because there's pins in like the legs and the ankles.
I think it'll take too much time though, and those are you probably need like a wrench or something.
But I mean, there's so much time in the beginning that they just sit there and stand there and do
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
And it's one of those
It is
pins.
a Saw movie.
Yeah,
They like to
they
waste
have
time.
to. It is one of those pins that it doesn't take a wrench or anything. It's got like the 2 indents on each side so you can twist it. So.
But Jeff thought the better strategy was to try to stop the gear. So you can't argue with him.
Well, at least if he would have got like one hand out, the guy could have like done his other arm or
So
something.
would you have rushed to get the one hand that started to twist first, or would you have done all the other body parts?
Dude,
and
his fucking
sacrificed
head
his
is
arm?
what I would do.
Yeah, at least the rest, it sucks, but you're still alive. You can have hopefully some sort of
Metal
life.
legs,
Yeah, the head. There's no life without the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, you definitely don't start with the one that's already fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Imagine if, like, once again, Jigsaw, is watching, he's screwed up, and he's at the head first, and he's like, God damn it! Like, the head happens first, and then, like,
You know what? I wouldn't be like, because it starts with like his hands, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff's like, oh shit, and he starts going for the hands, but then the legs start moving. He's like, oh no, goes down to the legs, and then the head starts moving. But it's like it doesn't matter. It's already too late. He fucked up all of them because he went to them.
He still throws the key
He
away.
throws the key! And what happened if he need that key for something? Yikes.
That damn key.
Yeah.
And then I'm not quite sure what I had by this, what it meant, but I have ending makes it seem like the last one with Amanda dying, Jigsaw dying, and the end collage.
Well, yeah, and the ending thing, which, have you picked up on that music yet? Has it finally, when it hits in, you're like,
did
oh,
notice
this is
it.
the Saw theme?
Yeah.
This one has flashbacks for all the movies, too, except I think Gordon isn't on the flashbacks for any of them. I think that's one on purpose, and two, there was rumors that they had, like, a falling out, him and the director, so they're like, fuck Gary Lewis, we're not putting him in our trilogy flashback. But I do like that it shows everybody, you get to see Obby, in the flashback.
Fucking
That's cool.
Obby. Great.
Yeah.
One thing I actually just thought about is that ice room trap with the
So cool.
woman in there. Like, I feel like the key, like, I don't know why it took him so long to get that key. I was kind of confused.
Also-
about that.
Short arms.
But I don't
Yeah,
know
but like
why.
he still got it.
Yeah.
Why
nothing
would you
moved.
put cloth, like, to protect your face? Like,
Jeff threw the key away. He doesn't.
To be honest, I would not have thought of that. I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, no, that's not something I would
Well, if
consider.
he would have done it really soon, that probably wouldn't have happened though. So if he would have just went to the key right away.
You need to keep in mind that people in these traps are under a lot of emotional stress.
That's true.
You know? So they don't think straight. They don't think, well, I wonder if these pins, are going to undo this rat trap. Or I wonder if I should put a cloth on my face.
But Jeff did prove wrong, because in the shotgun moment, he unscrewed the thing to get the key. So he managed to show a little bit of
A little bit of spunk.
spunk, yeah.
I don't know, he was smart enough to, like, push the button to light all his kids' shit on fire.
Took him.
That's just a button.
But he's used a lot of vending machines in his day, so.
It looks like it, yeah.
And that even took him quite a while to get to.
It did.
Yeah, the judge almost died. I was gonna say for the guy, I can't remember his name with the chains. Jigsaw
Troy.
uses what?
Troy.
Troy. He uses the reason it says because he keeps going back to jail. Is that a valid reason? I guess. Like, really, is it just the law system working? Because he says like, you like being like in chains, so like today you're gonna have to break through them, and it's just like, okay, so he keeps committing crimes, but like he's going back to prison, and like there's some like studies that show that people like prefer prison when they've been there for a while. They can't get used to normal life, so it's like this guy is like maybe like I don't know knocking over someone, maybe he's killing people,
Well,
but we never get the.
I think it was more so the Jigsaw thing of, this guy was given all the opportunities to do something great or something
Fair
good
enough.
for people, and then he chose not to. He just chooses to be a criminal.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of part of Amanda's downfall. If you think about it, no one in this movie really has a proper reason to be where they are. So, like, and none of them are winnable. Like, Troy, like, going to jail is not a super valid reason. Like, a judge making a call is not a valid reason, and he has no way to win. A drunk driver, I mean, yeah, it's shitty. That one is possible.
It is, but at the end of the day, for me, it's not because it.
Did
the
they
judge-
say he's a drunk driver at
They-
any point? I did
They
not catch on to
do,
that.
and then they kind of like weirdly. I feel like they retcon it because when they show up photos of him, it seems like he just made a mistake. But at the very
Yeah.
beginning, he says your son got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh,
It does say
I
that.
didn't catch on to that.
Yeah. The only thing for me is I don't think he should be in there because the judge's fault is he gives him that he gives him 6 months. It was a bad call, but Timothy Young went to jail for 6 months, so he did his time. He did what it wasn't if he got sentenced to 5 years, he probably would have done 5 years. You know, it's not like he
So if Timothy Young was like, no, I don't want 5 months. I want you to send me to jail for like 30 years. You know, I kind of deserve it.
And then after 30 years, is Jigsaw still be like, hey, Timothy Young? And it's like, oh, that's sucks. Because a lot of people speculated for years that was Amanda's brother. It is not Amanda's brother because they have the same last name. So everyone's like, oh, is this something? No, it's not.
And then the
I
other,
didn't notice that.
chick
I didn't
was,
know Amanda had a last name.
Yeah, Amanda Young.
Amanda Young.
and then that chick, like, she was the witness who didn't stay. Is that what it was?
She didn't go to court, apparently, even though Jigsaw got some photos of her that day, you know.
How the fuck was he there? Yeah, great question.
That whole thing, like, of her trying to get these characters together, I feel like it was like she was trying to imitate Jigsaw's attempt in Saw 2, where, like, you bring all these other people around that are connected to one character.
Yeah.
But Jigsaw did it the right way. These people actually did seriously wrong things.
Maybe. We still talk about if lots of those people in Saw 2 didn't necessarily, like Morgan or whatever, like, he did his time. Like just because he knows Eric Matthews, he shouldn't be in this fucking death
But
house.
compared to Saw 3, these people really just... She didn't want to be a witness, I mean...
Well, honestly,
nice.
like, now that I think about it, that one makes no sense at all, because whether or not she was a witness, like, that guy still went to jail for being a drunk driver and hitting the kid.
Yeah.
So whether or not she saw that or not, it doesn't matter, because the guy still
it
went to
feels like
jail.
there's stuff missing that, like, if she would have said something, maybe he would have got more time or something, but that's where it feels like some stuff is kind of missing, and that's where, even with the driver thing, they only say drunk driver once, and then they never mention it again, so it's something that, like, maybe they were going to touch upon a bit more, and then it was kind of like, oh, well, it was just like a guy that hit his son, Like, it's kind of, it's a little murky, that whole situation.
Well, and the other thing, too, is in the flashbacks, he's driving during the day, like, the kid's out bike riding, so is this guy just, like, shittered at noon and driving around?
And where's
It's been
Jeff?
known to happen. Happy hour, 12 a.m.
I was going to shout out, for some reason, I think the score is really good in this one, and composed, not like the last one.
I did notice it more.
Yeah, that does happen more throughout the sequels. Charlie Clauser gets a bit more, like, I think, room to play with, and obviously once you've done 4, it's kind of like, I'm going to change it up a bit and do something new. So, yeah, it stood out to me in moments I really like. Like, the surgery scene was a big one, too, where they did a great job of building the intensity with the music.
I noticed, I was thinking about it when I was watching it. I was like, if they didn't have this music here, like, what would the scene be like? I feel like it would be nowhere near as intense. So.
Yeah. Dylan, I'll ask you, because I said this movie does a great thing of, like, this is, like, classic MCU. This sets up for lots of movies down the line, lots of stuff. What do you think was the deal with Amanda's note?
I honestly don't remember like that. What did you mean by that?
Because at one point, Jigsaw says there's a letter for you on the cabinet. Later on, I want you to read it. She reads it and she starts crying. That's when she does the shift of, she comes there with the gun and she's, like, really rattled. Do you have any
I haven't
theories?
thought about that at all yet.
Okay, there you go. Something to think on to the next review.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
I like the fight scene between Eric and Amanda when Amanda does get him. Like, it's pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah,
like,
he just, like, clocks her into the wall.
Oh, yeah, and then when she fucking destroys his leg and, like, she kicks it and just, like, oof. Like, I thought it was a really, really good fight scene. I didn't like that. I like that it wasn't, like, just one-sided or this or that. Like, and I like that Eric, classic Matthews. I love Matthews. He's top 5. But he defeats himself. All he had to do is keep his mouth shut, and Amanda was still walking away. But he has to come in. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you." It's like, man, your legs. Yeah, you're not Jigsaw, baby. Like, just leave it alone. Like, your son. Like, go find your son. But, like, once again, I like the consistency of characters because he does that. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this sucks," but it was like, he would do that. He's such a hothead because he lost the fight. He has to trash talk her. And then I just love the shot when Amanda turns around and, like, the blood's just, like, dripping from her face, and then
scary.
It's great. Yeah, and
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that is it. Yeah, hate that shotgun scene with the judge dies. That's about it.
Another one, too, that I thought of is, I know they started in the last one, but I feel like there was a lot of those good transitions in this one where it goes from one scene and, like, seamlessly flows into another.
Yeah. Did you notice those? Oh, yeah. Okay, you said. I didn't hear you say yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I thought you said.
I did notice some.
I thought you said yeah with a question mark. That's what I thought I heard. Yeah. Taylor, have you noticed those?
The transitions?
Yeah.
Some of them.
Okay, well, you will in part 4, because part 4 is complained they do it way too much. Like, feels like every 5 minutes there's a transition scene. You're like, this is not needed. Like, and there's some transition scenes that actually don't even make sense because it, like, blurs, like, flashback in real life, and you're like, Wait a
That's
second,
confusing.
what? Yeah, you'll see. There's one in particular where it's really, really strange.
Nice.
Go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the first one they don't really do it all that much. This one they kind of do it the perfect amount, and then it like continuously.
Well, the first one it didn't happen at all because it wasn't that direct.
Like, and then, like the second
second
one,
yeah.
third, and then fourth.
Yeah, because the guy who did this was like Conjuring, and then Darren Lynn Bosman did 2 to 4, and then yeah. It's time for what trap would you pick in a Saw retrospective? So I have the. I think I got.
I feel like we kind of need to do it in two sections because one is like the Jeff.
I just threw them all together.
But the traps with Jeff, like you can't get out of those. You have to be let out of those. So which one would you want to be in?
Yeah,
or like you have
there's ones
some
that you can't
fucking
win.
weird guy that you would have to try to convince to let you out. Because those ones are different, right? Because you can't
Fair enough.
get out of those.
Well, the other ones you can't necessarily win them either. All of them are
Yeah.
not really dependent on you.
Well,
So this one's more a question. How would you like to die?
I don't know. Well, like you said, you brought the talking thing. So like I'll go with the trap. So what we do is we talk about the trap we would pick as far as the best thing. I always go the route of if I'm some movies I do go of like, oh, if I have a chance I'll pick this one, or I just pick the best way to die. So there's the chain trap, there's the angel wings, there's the ice trap, the pig guts, and the rack, the raft, the wraith. We don't know what it is.
The raft.
But but whatever it is, I swear it's the rack. I swear it's the rack.
I
But
thought it was the raft, like a biblical sort of thing.
I will look it up before we end it up. But
Or you could do even a position where you're wearing like the shotgun necklace. If you would call that a trap.
I don't think so because I know I can't perform brain surgery.
No, but not necessarily in that exact situation. But say you.
I'd try. I would try.
Okay,
I have to
John,
lose?
get ready. I don't know. I
Go
go back and forth. I think I'd probably. I already spoiled it earlier. I think I'd go with the chains because like I'd maybe give it a shot, but really, I'd probably just be like, well, that bomb's there, and that's not a bad way to go. Other ways, you're drowning in pig, but like this can be instant. The second that bomb goes off, you're done. Like the rack.
It is
or
the
whatever.
rack.
Yeah, it is the rack. See, yeah. There's
Yeah, according to the Saw wiki.
well,
Probably
who's
just changed
who
that.
you gonna try?
It's
Yeah.
probably on there.
But like the rack, terrible way. I do not want to fucking freeze to death. Like that's a brutal way. We didn't talk about that one, but I love that trap with the water. I think it's Shaka too. They do the way of like obviously they have it on a spinning like wheel camera rig, so like the way it like just spins around her all the water. Don't want to go it that way because I hate being cold. Pig guts, no thank you. And I don't. Once again, I'd actually take the angel wing one if it was not rigged. I'll change my mind. If it's not rigged, and let's say that none of them are rigged, I would take that one because I feel like I have the best chance of, okay, boom. I still want to know how it works once you get the key, like the unhooking. Is that going to be really painful
They're
too?
still in your ribs. So.
Yeah, so that's the way where it's like, so if I wanted to try to get out, I'd choose that one, but if I'm just going to die, the chains.
I would think that if you dig it out, they would disconnect and the pins would still be under your ribs.
and then
so
you
you'd
just
have
like fall.
Yeah. So yeah.
Face
Might
plant.
die anyway.
Face plant to the concrete.
There's just like a giant spike in the ground. You just.
It's a needle pit. No!
Oh, and then there's that one. Okay, I know this is backtracking, but when she knows her time is up, she like sticks her arms up out of the way.
That was
so
for dramatic effect.
The wings can go, and I was just like, "Who's gonna You're gonna try and hold that in? Like, what do you do? Oh, just take me. My time is now."
You know that happened, and they're like, we gotta get her to put her arms up, because without it, we can't see her
The
skin.
trap doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So, Taylor, what are you picking?
The pig.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm down there, you just gotta, when you see the pig coming in, you just close your mouth, your eyes, and breathe out your
Just
nose.
like bacon.
And then you
Oh.
just, as the guts feel, you close your mouth, you just breathe out of your nose so nothing gets in there, and then I would talk that guy, be like, you know what, Jeff? We're gonna get the son of a bitch, I'm gonna lock him up, get me out of here, and we're gonna go do it right now. And he's gonna be like, okay, Taylor, I'm gonna unhook you here, and I'll be like, fuck yeah, buddy, let's do it.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
I'm not gonna be like, Jeff, I'm a federal court judge, you can't do this to me, and then the guts splash. And then he just doesn't help you until you're like this much guts on you. No, I would let tops. It would be like a pig and a half. The rest of that second pig wouldn't even hit me by the time he's getting me out of there.
Okay, they didn't drop half a pig.
No, but I'm saying like as like half of the second pig is spewing out of me, I'd be getting out of there. That's how quick I would talk him
Confident.
down. Because me and him would be best buds. We'd go out for drinks after. Well, maybe not. Well, he might need drinks. I don't know. After what he's been through, but yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that was.
Let's see here. I definitely am not taking the rack. Fuck that. Honestly, pig guts, it's gross and all, but it's like...
It's doable.
The thing is, if you die, that's a shitty way to die, but if you don't die, it's not that bad. It can get much worse.
Do you also gotta be able to duck a shotgun shot, though, as far as the trap?
No,
I'm joking.
I don't think that's part of the trap.
Yeah, good point, good point. The ice trap,
that's a terrible way to go if you have to.
Yeah, but I spent a lot of time in the Target freezer, and it sucked. But like, I'm okay.
No one was spraying liters of water.
Yeah.
on
And you also weren't naked.
Taylor was
You weren't naked.
Go into the Target cooler and strip down.
Not only do you go,
I
you're
was testing myself. Okay.
Not only do you go, it's kind of humiliating. You die naked. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
this sucks.
Let's see. I think for me, it's between the chain trap. You know what? Maybe not. That one. There's like a very small timer on that one. It was
It's like a minute to get
Yeah.
all of those changed. He should at least get 2 minutes.
I think at least like 5 minutes. Give him 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't understand, like, even if you do get the key for carries, like, how you would, I don't know, I feel like you would still, like, they still would have ripped your stomach up, and that would,
you could still die from blood loss, I imagine.
you could still die from blood loss, and I mean, that would not be fun to put your hand in that anyway.
No.
So I think I'll go with, I'm gonna go with pig guts, actually,
Pig guts.
because if you do survive, like, it has the least amount of, like, long-term effects, because the chain
Except you'll
one,
never
the
eat
chain
pig
one,
again.
like, yeah, you'll never eat pig, but if you have the chain one, you can't eat ever again anyway,
No,
because your
true.
jaw is all ripped up, so.
Fair enough. So we have one for the chains,
Me
two
and
for the
Taylor will be
pigs.
in the pig guts together.
Jessica's is a third for the pig guts.
So definitely not doing the rack. That one. It's like fuck that.
We are. There's something wrong with you.
The chain ones, as much as I think that one would probably be like one of the least worst. Besides that, is I couldn't pull out my Achilles. There's no fucking way. That's like a twitch spot for me. If there's ever something in a horror movie that like cuts that or rips that or anything, like it just I can't fucking do it. I hate it so much. So that one's out. Yeah, freezing to death. I don't like being cold. My feet are cold right now, and I'm in pants. So I've been thinking about it this whole time
You know, why don't you have socks then?
because I wear sandals.
Socks and sandals are a great combo.
No, God. Jigsaw's gonna put you in a trap just for that.
So yeah, I'd probably do big guts. Just there is, you know, the best chance of being able to talk Jeff out of like letting you die. I think the ice one would go really quick and the rack goes really quick, but I think that one is the easiest. All he has to do is press a button, and that's about it.
Is there any chance of disease with the pig guts one?
Oh,
though?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because they were rotten too, weren't
Yeah,
they?
so
They wasn't just.
Maybe you might survive that night, but you might not survive the week.
Well, you know what? At least I got another week.
Fair enough.
It's true.
And I would be in a hospital, so like my family could come see me while I'm vomiting up old pig guts, and
Yeah.
Making
Great
mess.
you know, Dr. Gordon will come help me while I'm in there.
You don't want that.
no.
Not good people are associated with him.
Yeah, Lynn. Everyone that works with him, apparently. Yeah. Well, Jessica, what is your last final rating or whatever thoughts on Saw 3, the ending of the first trilogy?
I enjoyed it. Definitely more than I remember enjoying it. I think watching it again, especially because I watched them so close together, the storyline really blended together really well. And like I said, with what we've got now, I still think this is quite a good movie. It hasn't started to go downhill in my opinion yet. Yeah, overall, I mean, if you're watching along with us, Saw 3 is definitely one to go watch.
Nice. Yeah, as for myself, I think even though this movie, just like the other two, has its flaws and it has some characters that are kind of lame, but I still think it was just like a lot of fun, and the twists are more like character-based things as opposed to like time jump things, I guess. So I don't know, I thought that was an interesting dynamic, and I like seeing, even though Jeff's not the greatest character, I like seing that dynamic of...
Jeff is just being shit on. This actor's like, oh man,
I don't think it's as bad as you guys.
Someone's
so.
reviewing Saw 3 again. Can't wait to check it out.
You know what, Jeff? I think you're great in your own special little way. What was I going to say about Jeff? Yeah, I like seeing that dynamic of a trap. This guy is in no harm whatsoever, well, sort of, and he's pit against like these people, and he has to like forgive them. I don't know. I think it's an interesting dynamic. Amanda is great in this movie, and Jigsaw is great as well.
Apparently he was in Braveheart.
Oh really?
For you,
Main
man.
character.
Jeff.
Jeff.
Have you seen my wife?
That's the biggest crossover movie.
Jigsaw has to take out all these fucking...
Yeah, this is a good movie. I think for me, I would put this one. I don't know. Somewhere, this one might be, I think it's probably my favorite right now I'd go with. So I'll go 3, 1, and then 2 at the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Harsh.
Deerfield.
Are we giving it like a 10 rating too?
Yeah.
Or-
Whatever the hell you want.
We do.
Well, okay, we do. Well, I wasn't sure. I couldn't. Yeah. You know, I like this movie. It was
There's no rules.
It's up to
There's no-
you.
Travis is a jigsaw. He doesn't lay down the rules.
You better give a rating, or you're gonna have some big guns.
Lynn was in Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible, apparently. And Crash.
Which Mission
Oh,
Impossible?
Crash.
Crash
come on.
Bandicoot, the movie.
Not that one.
Yeah, I liked it more than I thought I would. I feel like it was definitely, if this was a trilogy, like you guys said, like I feel like it would be perfect way to conclude it.
Mm-hmm.
It ended a lot of good stories, and I mean, obviously there were still a lot of stories that didn't even know really were there that continue on later, but it was a good movie. It was an interesting ride. Jeff, his journey, you know, it was fucked a little bit, but you know, it's the way it goes, and
Okay. It's the way it goes.
I definitely enjoyed the perspective and the new twist that it took. For me, I think the second one's, I mean, it's my favorite. I'd probably say the third one, like rewatching these, I'd probably say the third one is next, and then the first one. I mean, I like the first one a lot, but I mean,
Salt over here.
No, no.
I do like the third one, but the second one's still just my favorite. And it's unfortunate Jigsaw getting sliced, but it'll be interesting to see how he carries on.
Getting sliced.
So I mean, I'm gonna give it like a 7.8 out of 10 because I feel like, you know, it's.
I think that's our first like point. Something that's not a 5, to be honest.
No.
What did you give the other two? I'm just
I
curious.
can't remember.
I wouldn't be surprised if you gave them higher scores than that.
Yeah.
Well, the second one I'm pretty sure I did, and that would have been worth it. But this one I'm giving like a 7.8 because just it's like.
In case you gave the number 1 7.5.
I think he did, and I think 2 was like a 9. I think.
So I gotta meet in the
Okay,
middle
you're still
somewhere.
being consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, for myself, obviously, like I like it a lot less than these people. When I thought,
He is people. He is filthy.
No, when I
people.
thought
Like
about it,
Saw 3.
when I thought about
Worst
it,
kind of scum.
when I thought about the ranking in the beginning, I said it was in the middle. It is actually below the middle. I forgot because there's 7. This one would be the third last for me. Like I when you talk about Jigsaw,
Fourth first, though.
what?
Nothing.
I actually didn't hear you say that.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Glass
Yeah,
half full.
like Taylor brought up with Jigsaw dying, I'm kind of disappointed when I watch this. I always do think about, like, I wish it was in one of the better ones, like the ones I like more personally, the ones that it didn't include Jeff killing him. I wish another character got to kill him, because now it's just like, oh, Jeff always gets that credential. He's just such a boring character. But yeah, I still like it. Still a good movie. Yeah, it's not one of the bad Saw movies. I did think that when I first saw it, but even then I still liked it. It's nowhere near, like I was a little disappointed, it was nowhere near what some ones we have coming up. But yeah, I like it a lot. It's a good solid time. There's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff. Yeah, I'd give it a 6.5. That's the way it is for me. There's, I think, a lot that does bring it down for me, and I think anytime Jeff is on the screen, honestly, I do kind of tune out. That was my time, like, oh, I'm gonna make my burger here and
Time to
eat,
check
you
Facebook.
know? Yeah, exactly. Like, I watch a bit more now. Like, I try rarely now when we're reviewing a movie, but there were times where he's just pacing back and forth, like, kind of mumbling to himself, and I'm like, okay, this is a good time to get myself a yogurt, you know? So, 6.5.
Yogurt and a burger. That's an odd
I'm
combo.
gonna put it on that burger.
Okay. When you don't have mayo, did you use yogurt instead?
I don't use mayo. Too much fat. Taylor, where can they find us for not fat but good stuff on the Geekverse?
Whoa, if you use the
They're not gonna be able to hear you.
God, yeah, you can't.
your salvation.
They can't hear you. Come on now.
And that's a bad version of it too. You're not even good at it.
I am good.
No.
I am good.
I am good. Damn it!
I am a good person, Travis.
See, it's me an alien again. I am good.
You can find us with your internet connection. You can find us in the search bar, or you can use your data. But you know, we are data worthy. Just saying, throwing it out there as always, because you
That's
know.
a new slogan for it.
Or it is. You know, you're on the go, and
He
sometimes
got a new
there's
data
no.
package, so he's like.
I know, gotta rock it. You know,
Hashtag we're worthy.
we are worthy. You know, there's not always Shoggle Wi-Fi around you, and you gotta tap into that data because we're worth it. We have so much awesome stuff like this retrospective. It's fudging fantastic.
Fudging.
Like, this is so much fudging fun. So you know,
alliteration.
you gotta hop into this, and you gotta talk to us and like give us like your opinions on this. Like, what do you?
You
feel
gotta say
about
where
this?
they can go to do that though. 'Cause you haven't
Yeah,
done that
that's
yet.
the most important part. To do that, you gotta have the internet. You gotta go on the search bar and go on your Facebook. And when you're on your Facebook, you type in Geek vs. Space Podcast, and that's where you find this. You
But
can
like,
talk
but
to
like
us.
a space bar, not like.
I
don't
did
text
do
me.
without a space. It still works if you just do Geek First
Does
Podcast.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
My
you know,
computer-
but your search history is a little fraudulent at this point
Why?
because you've searched Geekverse likely hundreds of times.
Very-
So your computer's like,
Very
he's probably
true.
going that way.
Yeah.
You have found like a dark part too. Like you
I
found
found
all
it in
those
the dark
pictures
web
and like
where people take us as quotes like fans don't like Ben Affleck
Is
or Batman.
Podbit
It's like,
is Podbit on FM the dark web?
What? No, they're just right before. They're in the shade.
so. Yeah, you know, check us out on Facebook. That's where all the good stuff happens.
Most importantly, go to geekverspodcast.com where you can find Facebook, you can find Twitter. Follow those for all our social media as far as promoting, letting you know what shows are coming up. That's where you can find when we're dropping shows and everything like that.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of shows.
Almost too many
shows
shows.
galore. Sometimes. But that's a good thing for you. Lots of content. Videos, you got YouTube and Twitch for our live streams. YouTube, you got all our content there. SoundCloud, Podbay.fm, iTunes. Go there. The biggest one is Patreon if you have some spare change. If you have $1, you can get episodes like this. You got Spider-Man Retro, you got Netflix and Fail, you got Saws, we put all the other ones in there, we'll have the past ones.
Dollar
So-
drink days are ending soon, so what else are you gonna spend that dollar on?
Exactly. You don't need it. You can get this content early. When you could be watching this weeks early when people are still
You're
trying
about
to...
to say months.
I was. I'm like, no, that's wrong. When people want to get their juicy
You
hands
can
on.
watch some things months early.
Mhm,
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this happens before. If not, go in the past and check it out. Geek Mania is happening. We got huge matches. We got Jessica and Kirkland and Sonic Underground. We got a great match with Dylan and Tyler. Hint, hint. These were pre-recorded. We got Taylor in the main event against Ruben. You excited for that?
I am.
Mhm.
I'm the champion.
Okay, that's your promo. I'm the champion.
I'm champion. I mean,
I am champion.
we don't know what'll happen when I face off against Ruben. But I
Taylor-
guarantee I'm gonna fight.
Taylor's defending his title for the first time in an ever best of 5. We got and the first ever sports champions crown. We got tons of stuff. It's gonna be like a 2-hour extravaganza of just fun gameplay. There's some great
Just
matches. If you like all these, check out the first 2 Saw retrospectives. We're gonna be dropping the rest of them. If you like horror, we reviewed it a few weeks ago. And if you like this, stick around because Jigsaw we will be reviewing
We
day
will
1.
be, yeah.
We're very excited. And until then. Game over?
Game over.
And no unison?
I forgot what it was, to be honest.
Oh,
Should go
I
with
thought
like-
we were trying to think of something that was going to be related to not being able to win.
No.
Um,
want to play a game?
you just can't
There
win.
you go. There's the winner right there. That's the money shot.
I'm editing that out.